You are looking live at the Nasdaq, and you can see that after the three legs down, this one has had a real powerful month in the month of November. See, you can see the August, September, October, three legs down correction. That's a 12% correction. Had the follow through day on November 1. It's just been off to the races, really rallying through the 50 and getting in a power trend, but now it's kind of going sideways, which is good. So market can correct and your stocks can correct through price, or they can correct through time. And this looks to be correcting through time. And maybe it just trades sideways here for a week or so and allows these moving averages to catch up, as opposed to just selling off and coming back down right away. It still could do that, but it appears that it wants to just correct over time. You can see the index here. This looks like it's setting up for possible 3 weeks tight pattern here. You could see the prior 3 weeks it had these hammer candles, and last week it just it was a holiday shortened week. But anyway, let me get the price of it here. So the last price here was 14,125, and then it closed last week at 14,250. So anywhere within 142 points or 1% close, and now it's at 14,281. So it could be a 3 weeks tight. It doesn't really matter. I mean, what really matters is you're observing the fish tank here, and you could say that the index had, let me go to the monthly, 11.13% gain in November thus far. And now it's just kind of trading sideways. It's I wouldn't say it's stalled. It's just digesting gains here. So this is healthy. This is bullish. I prefer, that it trades sideways as opposed to just selling off and shaking everyone out. So you can correct through time or price. It looks like it wants to correct through time at this point. Anyway, that's a heck of a November, and I will get into the on the weekend report. I'll get into the monthly data, and this is a record month for it's been a long time since it's been up over 11%. So hopefully it'll hold those gains for the rest of the week. Anyway, it was up 40 points today, or 0.29%, and closed at 14,281. Let's take a look at the and the volume was higher than the prior sessions. So it's up. You could see the higher volume days are these blue bars, and there was a pink bar here, but most of the high volume days are advancing. So at least recently. Let's take a look at some of the Magnificent Seven stocks. This is Apple. It looks a lot like the index, with essentially the three legs down here. And then now it's rallied back through, and it's kind of going sideways as well. But still looks good, consolidating within a base. Definitely, it's got such a large market cap that it's going to have an impact on all the indexes. And so it does look like the index. And it's not a stock that I'm interested in because it's just not moving, but it is trading well, I would say. Microsoft is my largest holding, and this one we were lucky enough to get in here at 340, and it just ripped higher. And sometimes you just go biking, hiking, fishing, golfing, whatever you like to do, swimming, and just leave it alone and let it grow. I mean, I know some people are asking me like, how can I get in? When's it going to pull back? Well, this is just looks like a Tom Petty stock. It's not going to back down, and it's going to be very hard. It's not going to give you a chance to get in here unless you're just going to, hold your nose and buy it on one of these days where it comes in a little bit. But you can see this is has tremendous momentum. It's got these, good volume profile. The 10, the 21, the 50 are trending properly, and you never know how long this wave is going to last. But I'd say ride that wave until not that it crashes, but all waves just come in and just kind of roll up to the shore. But Microsoft certainly a powerhouse right now and has momentum. And definitely, if you don't own it, I know a lot of people trying to get into it, and you're just gonna it's gonna be tough. My Meta Platforms. Yesterday, I talked about it was the Instagram Reels, I guess, that was allowing inappropriate, I don't know, content for minors to see. But all the stock did, if you didn't know any news, you could just say, "Oh, I just pulled back to its 10 and then found support." So That's really all that matters, and that's why, you know, a lot of people just like technical trading and turn off the idiot box. Amazon, now they have, you know, the Cyber Monday, Black Friday, all this good news, but you know, Microsoft isn't that interested in retail, even though it's a retail internet stock. It's also, you know, their Amazon Web Services. They just have a lot of irons in the fire and really low margins on retail. So, you know, headline news, you know, they might talk about Amazon, but they don't really rely on that. But you could just see that it's getting supported at the 10 year. So every time it comes down to the 10, it gets support. So I'm not saying go out and buy it every time it pulls back to the 10, but that has been working. That is a strategy that has been working for Amazon. Google, another stock that I like. Of course, these Magnificent Seven stocks are being bought because they're a safe haven. They're seen as a safe haven. They have the resources and finances to withstand, you know, an economic downturn, whether we get one or not. I've heard about you know, a recession for a year and a half. We're just not getting it, and I'm going to get to that a little later. But you can see the cup shape pattern here, 8-week consolidation for Google or Alphabet, whatever you want to call it. It did rally back through its 50. Now it's kind of pulling back. Got this little bullish wedge action here as it pulls back to the 10. So I like that as well. Tesla, no denying this stock. I've been talking about it recently, this little wedge action here. That's why I pay attention to these little, you know, either a pennant or a flag or a wedge, whatever you want to call that. And now it popped above it today. So to me, that would be a day that you would want to, you know, if you wanted to own Tesla, it would be a day to be actionable and get aggressive here. On Tesla, I'm not interested in Tesla, but it did break above this downtrend line today with volume. So that's a good indication here that it probably wants higher prices. I wouldn't wait to the, you know, 268 or 278. That's you know, why not buy early? I don't know. As it breaks out of that little flag pattern, to me, that just makes sense to me. You can do whatever you want. NVIDIA, once again, we're seeing these, you know, these little wedge patterns here. And to me, this is really bullish action for December. I'm not saying they're going to break out this week or next week, but that is a bullish pattern here. And after this double bottom base here, pulling back, $1.2 trillion company delivering triple-digit sales and earnings growth, and they're going to smash these comps the next 2 quarters as well. Of course, the market knows this already. But NVIDIA's, you know, selling everything they can make, and their products are in demand. So I think it's just a question of time before it takes out that old 502. In fact, it did last week before earnings, right? Anyway, NVIDIA looks good. I'm going to take a look at a couple of more semiconductor stocks as we move away from the Magnificent Seven. This is AMD. This one, and I kind of screwed this one up, quite honestly. This one broke above its downtrend line here. And it's just been trading higher ever since. That was the earnings move right here, and it's just showing strength ever since. Now, if we look at the weekly, which you always should look at the weekly, you can see it's been 25 weeks, or you know, roughly a half a year of consolidation, and now it's starting to move out of this base here. I believe, you know, the move from like 120 to 132, you know, 10% move would be a good trade for AMD, or you know, if you just want to hold longer term, this they're going to be more aggressive with AI as well. So I like AMD. RMBS is another fabless semiconductor fabless stock that I like. Once again, this, you know, this wedge action here, which is a pullback to the 10 today and finding support. This one looks good. You can see once again, you know, 25 weeks of consolidation, just like AMD. You know, that's 6 months of sideways or consolidation, getting the sellers out, you know, building the right side of the base. So the RMBS looks good as well. AVGO, Broadcom, this one, once again, gosh, these things are looking good. These little bull wedge action down to the 21 today. Not coming quite down to that old 925, 91 area, but just a little bit above it. And to me, Broadcom looks good here as well. And like I say, when the stock market and your stocks pull back, it's good to see where they find support. That provides you some information of where the institutions are buying this stock. Obviously, they're selling here. This is the news of VMware. But anyway, you would look for pullbacks support, and that's valuable information. I'm going to get to quite a few stocks here that are doing just that. In fact, I'm going to get out of the Mag 7 semiconductor and go to the software names. Palantir, I know this is wearing some people out, but all it did really is form a cup with handle, pull back 4 days, volume drying up. This one looks good to me. It's not the real fast mover go-go, SMCI type stock, but this one looks good to me. You can see the cup shape, 14 weeks, pull back last week, find support. This is kind of textbook stuff right here. Right there at the 21. Yeah, Palantir looks good. BRZE, this was on our watch list last week. I had to take it off because it got extended. But once again, this is starting that trend with the 10, the 21, and the 50 trending higher in this power trend type of action. You just got to ride the wave in this thing. When it pulls back, maybe that's your chance, gives you a chance every 3 or 4 sessions. But man, when they start moving like that, they're not going to wait up for you. They don't know you want to buy it. So it's not like a bus. It's going to stop at the bus stop and allow you to get on. You just got to, like a hobo, jump on the train, right? Hope I didn't offend anybody with my hobo comment. Datadog, it's 2 Ds in Datadog. And this is, you got to look at the weekly on these charts. Always look at the weeklies. Sometimes in these videos, I don't have time to really go back for every stock and look at the weekly, but you can see this massive cup with handle. Big, here's your handle right here. Big move with earnings, and now just, trending higher. I believe, I've had a couple buy points on this one. We had the 102 here, and I got the 113, and I don't know, the standard would be 118, but Datadog looks good to me. Coin, Charlie Munger passed away today. May Charlie Munger rest in peace. Condolences to his family. But he had a few colorful words for cryptocurrency, but there's no denying Coinbase, the move here on this date, which is the 24th, it did pull back, but then just got support and then ripped higher. And it's just been getting, nice volume profile down here, and just ripping higher. There's no denying the momentum in this thing, just trading higher. And it just blew right through that 114 level, another 7% move today. So Coinbase has momentum. You want to look at the weekly here. This is the stage 1 and moved up and formed this stage 2, which was 18 weeks. And now it's blasting out of that stage 2 base. So congrats to the longs there. I don't own Coinbase. I missed it, and that's okay. You can't kiss all the babies. Workday, this one reported earnings after the bell. Really strong earnings. Workday, Intuit, CrowdStrike. I mean, there was some really nice earnings tonight. Should bode well for tomorrow, but you never know what can happen. But I was going to put this on our ready list this week, but then I noticed it had earnings. But I do like this cup pattern, and now maybe tomorrow, you can buy it. If you didn't get it here, 237, you have to buy it at 250. That's just consider that insurance, because it could have gone the other way too. In fact, I know if I would have bought it, it would have sold off back to 200. So I try to stay away from these earnings, because I've been hammered too many times. But yeah, I want to avoid that move there. And so tomorrow it'll be up to 250. And if you want to buy it there, it still has that standard buy point at 252. So congrats to the longs if you held Workday through to earnings tonight. It was a really strong report. MongoDB is another one that I have on our ready list, and I like this setup here. Once again, these like little bull wedge action here. After the consolidation, all the sellers are out, buyers come in, and you get some profit taking. And then, buyers are always, institutions, they don't establish their positions all at once. It takes time, months, sometimes even years. And MongoDB looks good to me. It's just in this stage 2 base. You got 19 weeks of consolidation. So these are not short, quick bases. These stocks have been basing for a while, and I believe they're ready to move, but that's just my opinion. The retail stocks, I got to go to the retail, because you hear about AFRM and all the Cyber Monday, Black Friday, consumers are spending. I guess there's not a recession, but if they're using a firm buy now, pay later, maybe they just buy now, have a nice Christmas, and don't pay later. There's always that consideration. Deckers, this is just one that, took off on earnings. This is why we did not ignore these moves, Dan. And this one's just trending higher. There's nothing to do here. Just ride the wave. I mean, if you're in it, you ride the wave. If you want to buy it, you got to wait for something like that. I forget that was a downgrade. Somebody downgraded like Credit Suisse or something, and then it just rips higher back up to 650. So Deckers is just a real beast. CROX, there were some people asking me about CROX today because I do like CROX. I like their products, but to me that 100 level is just really something to consider. Obviously, it's a stage one base, and that it made this low here at 74 after earnings. The company really they threw in the kitchen sink. They're really lowered all guidance, lowered all expectations, and just everybody's just get the heck out. You could see the volume here. So this is kind of like capitulation selling. And now we're starting to see some buyers come in as the narrative is now got upgraded that hey dude's doing better, and CROX have always sold well. It's just that hey dude acquisition is kind of a albatross around this company right now because of the debt. This company has big debt because of that acquisition, and the higher interest rate environment, it's kind of holding it back. But the PE is super low. You don't buy growth stocks for PE, but it just got really cheap. 6 billion market cap with about 5 billion in sales. So this is not an expensive stock. I think the risk reward is decent here. If you want to take a swing here, that 100, 101 right there. It got through 100 today, which has impressed me. I thought it would have trouble, and it still might. But yeah, CROX looks pretty good. Skechers is another one that looks a lot better than CROX. You can see the cup with handle. Cup without handle, just blasting right through the old buy point there. Once again, this is a pretty cheap company. 8.9 billion market cap, and they've got 8 billion in sales. So it's trading a one-time sales. So these are not expensive stocks. Skechers, kind of like that one. I got to go to PDD, because they have Temu and they reported earnings and they blasted higher, 18% with over 300% above average daily volume. That is a move not to be ignored, for sure. Temu is it's what helped that one. It's people go online and buy junk cheap, basically. Anyway, Williams-Sonoma is one that traded higher on earnings. You got to look at the weekly on this one. Nice gap higher, breaking out of this cup with handle pattern. Williams-Sonoma looks good. And then AFRM. This is really a finance credit card payment stock, but in its retail, it's tied to the consumer. And this one had a nice follow-through day of 11%, following up on yesterday's big move when it gapped out of a base there of what was it, 11%, 2 days in a row? How about that? So good for AFRM and those who are holding AFRM long. Okay, that's enough retail. I'm just going to go through some random stocks. This is one that's on our ready list. This one looks beyond ready, and it's just showing a lot of momentum. I believe it made a new high today. Yes, Spotify made a new high today as well. And this one's just trending, riding the trend. Like I say, you got to just figure a way to jump on that wave and ride that wave. Get on the board. ROKU, this one's been on our ready list, and this thing's just blasting higher. It's got momentum. Look at the volume profile down here. Breaking out of that base of 98, got above 100. It blew through 100 like it wasn't even there. There's the old buy point there. So the last couple of days, ROKU looks good, making a new 52-week high today. Duolingo, this is another one that I think this could be one of the big IPO winners from 2020, I believe, or 2019. Let's go back since I brought it up. Yeah, 2021. Wow. Okay, so Duolingo, that looks good. By the way, that is a nice looking IPO chart right there. It's up 51% this month. So yeah, just because it's up and the trading higher doesn't mean it can't go higher. I hear a lot of people say, oh, it's overvalued, it's too high. This could go a lot higher. Like I say, these waves, they can last a long time. You ride that trend till it bends at the end, my friend. Yeah, don't be afraid of the, higher price stocks that are moving higher. I mean, they're moving higher for a reason. This is Vert. This was on our watch list. It pulled back to its 21 today. I'm curious because we're seeing a lot of these wedging type. This is what you want to see. Bull wedges, they're pulling back. This one's got a little more volume than you'd like to see, but still I like that. Above the 43.13 there, I like Vert. Anyway, that's enough of that. I wanted to show a couple. I did mention IPOs. I want to show a couple newer issues. This is MSS, retail stores. Okay. I don't really know much about it, up 13% though, and I am going to follow this IPO. Burke, I believe Burke's a little overvalued, but it's trading well. It looks good, that little IPO base, and then trading higher. So Birkenstock, they've been around a long time. They look good. ARM, another one that looks really good. I believe it's overvalued. It doesn't matter what I think. This one is trading nicely. It's undercut the IPO low, made this little base, and ARM looks good as well. And then one of my favorites is Shark Ninja. And this one, this one is just riding the wave, right? It's just, you could see this, I mean, for an IPO, this is a nice consistent pattern here where it's finding support at moving averages here and making higher lows. So Shark Ninja looks good. That's it for me, except for I lie in honor of the great Steve Jobs. One more thing. I have to get to the cybersecurity stocks because they talk about riding the trend. CrowdStrike, everybody was saying, oh, it's going to sell off like Zscaler and Palo Alto Networks. Maybe not. They delivered stellar earnings tonight, down 1% after hours at 210. I'm really tempted to buy it. And after hours, I sold some heading into earnings because I just don't trust earnings these days. But I kept a portion, and I'm going to buy the stuff that I sold and to buy it back. And it's just, like I say, consider it, like insurance. So, 210, okay. If you sold it at 2.5 or whatever, you pay a little more, so what? It could have done this, and then you would have said, oh, I'm glad I sold it, So anyway, 210, I'm happy to buy CrowdStrike, Palo Alto Networks, another cybersecurity stock. I'm wondering if I go back to a 30-minute chart. So it reported earnings, and look what happened. It just sold off, right? And then what has happened since? Boom, buyers all the way in. So Palo Alto Networks looks good to me. That was a 30-minute chart. And then Zscaler sold off last night after hours. It got down. I think it opened at the low, and just, you can see that hammer candle with volume. This looks really good to me. Yeah, it sold off this morning down to 182 was the low, 182.60. If you got it there, God bless you. If not, this thing was being bought all day long. If we look at the 5-minute chart there, you can see, the gap lower, and look at the buyers come in, just all day. Buyers, people want to buy this stock. So what happens is, they sell the news. Those who want out, get out. Okay, that's fine. But there's a lot of people who want in. It's pushing the stock higher. So Zscaler, Palo Alto Networks, CrowdStrike, these are really expensive stocks, like 10 times sales, but they have the growth. They're in demand. Companies are not going to, shortchange their line items on cybersecurity. They're going to cut in other areas. And I like, as long as the market is forgiving and in an uptrend like it is, these higher price, higher valuation stocks are going to perform well. And Palo Alto Networks, CrowdStrike, and Zscaler are all performing well. Once again, crowd after hours 210. I don't know how low it's going to go tomorrow, but definitely one to watch. Maybe we can get it as it pulls back to the 10. We'll see. But anyway, that's it for me tonight. I know I went long. I've been going long on these videos. Today, the 10 was 206.93, and yesterday was 205.73. So it's going up $1.20 a day. So maybe tomorrow, 208 something and change. So if you get it there, I think that's all you're going to get. It's not going to form a base. It did that here. It's already done that. Now it's running, it's trending. And if we look, I was talking about IPOs. Speaking of IPOs, it went up in 2020, came down in 2022. But to me, this is in its institutional advanced stage. This is your due diligence stage in here. And then it's now it's an advanced stage. When the Nasdaq corrected those 3 months, September, August, September, October, boom, 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 it was just going higher. And so that means somebody was accumulating this thing heading into earnings, and they already know, that these institutions do a lot of due diligence, and they kind of know the growth patterns, and so they want that stock, then I want that stock. Anyway, that's it for me at mcstockcharts.com. We never give up. Thank you for watching.